Hey guys, doing a video here on tester corals. So this is a continuation of my Fluval Flex 15-gallon Nano reef tank build. I'm going to go through what some good tester corals are, as well as what makes a good tester coral. And then, of course, I'll show you the tester corals that I used. The whole purpose of the tester coral is just to make sure your tank is at the ready to start stocking with coral. So we're going to take one of the easier to care for corals and test out our tank. So what makes a good tester coral? A couple things. One, it needs to be a coral that is easy to care for, not something overly difficult, something that's cheap, something that you want, or if you don't want, something that would be easy to resell. So some good tester corals include feather dusters. I know everybody's going to say feather duster isn't a coral, it's a worm, but it does filter feed, so it does tell you about the nutrients of your tank. We also have mushrooms, zoopallies, and leathers. So this is what a traditional, like Hawaiian feather duster would look like. You can get them in all different colors, even green. So they're a very pretty worm or coral, whatever you want to call it. They're very pretty, very attractive in the tank. This has been my go-to for forever because they're usually pretty cheap. You usually pick them up for $8 or $9. And I would put them in my tank and just kind of see how it went. Obviously, I didn't put them in too early. I made sure that it was long enough that I was pretty secure on what would happen. You saw it transfer here to mushrooms. Mushroom is another good tester coral, and it comes in a wide variety of colors, so plenty of options there from mushrooms. Moving into the zoopalli. So I personally think pallies are a little easier than zoas, a little hardier, so that may be a good option for you to start with. If you are starting with zoas, I would recommend that you don't start with the high-end stuff. Don't go buy something that's $10, $15, $20, or $50 a polyp and have that be your tester coral, because you might lose it. I would start with something a little on the lower end and just kind of test it out and see how things go. Another great option for you to start with would be a leather coral. So you just kind of have a standard cabbage leather coral. Those are very hardy. Something like a toadstool. A lot of people love toadstools. I actually love toadstools, the bright green ones, having them in the tank. And then, of course, we got, other leathers such as finger leathers, sinulera, different things like that. You can get spaghetti leathers, and they actually look very nice as well. A few tester corals that I will throw out as a caution. The first one is Xenia. Then we have Anthelia. We have Kenya trees, and we have GSP or green star polyps. So I know I threw out Xenia as a caution, but I actually really like pulsing Xenia, and I've had it in many of my reef tanks. You just got to be ready to control it. Pulsing Xenia was something that over time, once I let it have the area I wanted it to have, I just had to go in with my fragging tweezers and just pull it. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I would pull a piece off and discard it, and just made sure I maintained it in the area I wanted. So it was a lot of work to have the coral. Anthelia that you saw it transfer to would be the same exact way. You just have to manage it. When it comes to the Kenya trees here, the Kenya tree is a little bit more difficult. It's going to drop babies everywhere. If it drops it on the sand bed, it's easy to pick it up and discard. If it drops it on rock work, when you pluck it off, chances are you're going to leave some of that foot there and it's going to regrow. So a little bit harder. But I've had Kenya trees. They're actually pretty nice, but you got to be prepared for they are going to build a forest. So in a heavy stock reef tank, that may not be the best choice. Green star polyp, kind of same thing. It's going to encrust and take over. I like this on my back glass. And then as it grows, I can just kind of scrape it and keep it off and away from my rock work. So looking at my first tester coral here, I put in these green mushrooms. They were completely free because I took them out of my other tank. So it was, again, it was a hardy coral, and it was a cheap coral because it was free. I transferred it from a different tank. And this is what I chose for my tester coral. I put this guy in at 56 days, so exactly 8 weeks after first setting up the tank. And, about 2 months is about the appropriate time to start putting in some tester corals and just kind of see where you're at. If you've done all your steps correctly, everything should be great and you should be set to go. After putting these guys in, I don't know if anybody saw this video on my light spectrum misaligned. I'm not sure what happened with my AI prime, but the light spectrum misaligned, and I had to do a warranty claim on it and start kind of all over from a lighting aspect. So after I got that resolved, my new tester coral is GSP, or green star polyps. I know this was on my caution list. However, I do put green star polyps on the back wall of every tank I have because I absolutely love the look when it grows all over the back wall and just kind of has that back flowy backdrop to the tank. So this, you can see it's on there, and you can see it is spreading around. So it is taking hold, it is growing, it is spreading over the back wall. You can kind of see how it's branching out and spreading on it. So it is doing very well. And that's, of course, what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that the coral was growing, the coral was opening, and the coral was happy. So hopefully you like this. Hopefully you got some tips out of it. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, check out some more of my content, and I'll get more out for you soon. Thanks, guys.